Tying up a Carrie Stevens streamer today. This is the Yellow Witch, and it is probably one of the easiest Carrie Stevens flies you'll ever tie. Certainly is so far in all that I've done. A very, very easy fly simply because it has less components to it than normal. This just has the tip, tail, the body, the throat, and the wing. There's no underbelly or anything. The interesting thing about this fly is looking in the Hilyard book here, the Yellow Witch and another fly called the Jungle Queen have the exact same recipe. And I'm not certain why that is. I don't know if it's a typo in the book. I've been doing a little research looking to see, as far as I can see, other people that have tied this or the Jungle Queen, they use the same recipe. So if anybody knows anything about these two flies and the book in terms of why it has the exact same recipe and why the same fly would have two names, I'd be very interested in finding that out. Anyway, simple Carrie Stevens fly. That's the Yellow Witch, and I'll get started. Start the Yellow Witch with my hook in the vise. This is a Mustad R79 in a size 6. It's a 9x long streamer hook. After debarbing the hook, I'm going to attach my thread. I'm going to start out with a UTC 140 Denier in white. I'm going to attach my thread maybe about 2/3 way down the hook shank. Run it down just a little bit more, and this is where I'm going to put in the tip. The tip is silver tinsel, and I'm using a Danville Mylar tinsel in silver and gold in a size 12. I'm going to tie this in with the gold side up. I'm going to continue wrapping down the hook shank to just past the point of the hook, and then back up. I'll put in my tip. The body is also going to be the same tinsel, but I have a tail to put in first, and that is just some black Hackle fibers, and I'm using, this is a Whiting's American rooster cape in black. Get some of these nice long fibers down here. You could use a regular strung rooster if they're long enough, or even Schlappen. So I collect those together, and I'm going to tie those in so they're maybe about 3/8 to 1/2 an inch beyond the bend. This end right here, where all these curly butts are that were where it was peeled off the rachis, they can kind of bunch up and put a little bit of a bump in there. I'm going to cut those at an angle, just like this. Try and smooth that off just a little bit. Give me just a little bit more transition. With that tied in, I will put in the tinsel for the body. I'm doing a 1 layer on this, and that's part of the reason for using the white thread. And there's really no rhyme or reason to doing 1 layer on this or doing 2. If you want to make certain that everything is covered up and it looks really, really nice, I probably do 2 layers. I do one, I'd attach it here, bring it back, and then back up. But this is going to be a fishing fly, so I'm just going to do one layer. Then I'm going to bring my thread down to the eye of the hook, or close to it. You can flatten your thread out a little bit here, and it will help cover more of the hook shank a little bit quicker. And this fly, because it is a tinsel body, you could just attach a black thread on this, but if you get any gaps in the tinsel as it's coming wrapping in the body, that black's going to show through. So that's why I decided to go with white, just so that it wouldn't show through. Now I'm going to put some head cement along the threads here. This is just going to help to secure that tinsel down to the thread a little bit, make it a little bit more durable. And now I will put in the body. Secure that in and trim away the excess. Bring my thread forward a little bit, almost to the eye. Now I'm going to change over to my orange thread. Like I said, this is probably one of the simplest Carrie Stevens streamer flies you can tie, because there's no underbelly, no underwing on this. It's the body, the tail, throat, and the actual wing. The head on this is black with an orange band, so I'm going to attach my orange thread here so that I get a nice base of orange on there. Then we'll put the black bands in to finish off the fly. The throat is some pink, it's just pink hackles. I'm using Schlappen feather here for this. I'm going to tie this in so that the throat's about halfway down the hook shank. I've got 3 small clumps that I'm going to tie in. Make certain I have those on the sides of the hook shank, as well as right underneath. Trying to take a little bit of care not to wrap too far back and get a head that's going to be a little bit big on this, because since there is no belly on this and underwing or anything else on it, this is one that you can just have a nice little compact head to. Now the wing is, the recipe calls for 2 pink hackles with 1 grizzly hackle dyed yellow on the outside, and then a cheek of jungle cock. I'm going to match these up Make certain I get the tips of those, the tails of them, all nice and even. Cut away the excess, the rachis there, and then I'll tie these in one at a time. If you find when you're tying this in that the wings tend to cant like that on you, then when you start to tie that in, actually tilt it back towards you a little bit, and then the thread torque will pull it in the position you want it to be in. Then I will put the other one on the other side. Make certain you get the tips of the tails nice and matched up, or as close as you can. At this point, you're kind of committed. So if the tails aren't exactly the same length, it's not going to ruin the fly, but for symmetry, I suppose you want to just try and keep those as close as you can. So we'll take a look at that. Everything is looking good. I'm going to finish off the head here, smoothing this area off, shaping that a little bit. This will give me a nice solid orange band in the middle. In a second, I'll attach my black thread. Finish it off. For the black thread, I'm just using a Danville 6/0 in black. I'm going to attach it to the rear portion first. I want to make certain that I'm getting this. Each band is going to be about a third the length of the head here. I just want to make certain that I'm getting it nice and covered, but I'm not building it up. I don't want a pronounced bump in the back where the black is or in the front. Take a little care there also so that your whip finish, one of your wraps, doesn't kind of go out of place and sticking out. Now we'll attach our thread and do the front band. This can get kind of tricky sometimes because these hooks, they're so long that, as you can see, just the slightest little tension on that thread wiggles the end of that hook. So sometimes getting this thread on here can be just in the right place where you want it can be a bit of a challenge. Throw away the black. I'm going to put some head cement on this so that soaks down in there to really protect the head on there. I'm going to come back in a minute and I'm going to put a clear lacquer on it, and that will help to protect the outside of the thread and give it a little bit of a sheen. But there is the yellow witch. As I said before, probably one of the most basic Carrie Stevens flies you can tie in terms of these long feather wing streamers. I'd be curious if anybody knows anything about the difference between the Jungle Queen and the Yellow Witch. As I mentioned earlier, please leave a comment down below. It'd be interesting to investigate that. But that's the Yellow Witch. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.